I am excited for this one. This episode has something really exciting that happened to me at the very end of the week. Now, this is a special Project Bestseller weekly recap video where I break down exactly what I did this past week as I attempt to write and launch a best-selling book in 90 days or less. We have just completed week 3, and here is some of what's happened. I just want to say that there has been 3 weeks of intense travel, 2 keynote speeches being given, and 1 rough draft complete. Get ready for all of the exciting announcements here, but here's the breakdown of what's happened so far. It has been 22 days in the first 3 weeks. Of those 22 days since I started this project, I've been on the road for 12, traveling to Orlando, Florida, traveling to Charlotte, North Carolina, and traveling to Phoenix, Arizona. 2 of those days were the Jewish high holidays in Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where I spent with a lot of my family. And I've written my rough draft of 31,481 words. So before we get into exactly what I did this week, I want to let you know something, and I want you to really listen to this. You can do this. You are closer than you think. I know you have a lot going on. I know that you have families. I know that you have businesses to run. But the truth is, you can do this. And you're much closer than you think. All you have to do is break it down step by step and follow the process. And I'd love to help you do that. And so if you want to follow along this journey as we talk about it, you can visit my Instagram at Jake Kelfer and sign up at the link in my bio. Or you can text the word bestseller to 661-669-7363. And you can follow along and watch me or join me as I write and launch this book in 90 days or less. We have people who are following along who are 7 chapters in. We have people that are 15,000 words in. And we have people that are just getting inspired so that when we get started on the next phase, they can jump in, or whenever they're ready, they can jump in. So every week I break down this recap, and here's what happened this week. On Monday, I started off the week strong. Because I've been building up this habit of writing and showing up for myself, I'm getting excited to wake up on Mondays, more than I normally do. All right, I already love getting up on Mondays, truthfully, but I'm more excited than normal because I know I get to start the week off with an absolute bang. And I did 2,012 words on Monday to start the week. On Tuesday, I was almost out of my mind with my writing, and I leveraged some of the materials from our program to be able to write this even more. And in that time frame, I was able to do on Tuesday 3,009 words. Now, Wednesday was Yom Kippur, and so I knew that I was going to be spending all day with my family and then spending time with my girlfriend and her family. And so I had a very short amount of window time frame in the morning to actually execute. But I used all of it. I used every single minute to write, and I got 3,994 words done in about 88 minutes, I believe. I'll go through the times here in just a second. But that was probably one of the best writing days I've ever had. And the truth is, I was just flowing. I was focused. My outline was really sharp. I knew exactly what stories I needed to tell. I knew exactly what content I wanted to share. And I just let it fly. It wasn't perfect by any means, but I let it fly. Thursday, I had a flight at 5:30 a.m. to Arizona, so I flew there. I wrote at the conference for a quick few minutes because I wanted to just show up for myself and honor my writing time breakdown because I had a keynote that afternoon. So I got there at 5:30 a.m. I checked into the conference. I did a little bit of writing, and then I prepped for my keynote. So that day, I got 1,223 words done. I was effective. I was efficient, but I just didn't do it for that long. Now, Friday, I had just come off my keynote speech. We had celebrated that night. I was networking at this event. And Friday, I was trying to figure out what the best way to go about writing was because I didn't have much time in the morning before the conference started. I wanted to do some networking, and I didn't want to have to leave the conference. So I kind of reevaluated where I was at. And I said, okay, look, I could try to force it, or I could do it during the conference while other speakers are talking. I could step out, or because my flight's midday tomorrow, aka Saturday, I could just double down and make a huge commitment and a huge dent on Saturday. Plus, I'll have no distractions. I'll have at least a couple hours if I want to use both my writing time from Friday and Saturday. So I made the decision to push my writing to Saturday so I could do more and also be more present at the conference. Look, as much as I say, make sure it's on the calendar, you got to do that. But you also want to make sure that you live life. Now, if I wasn't going to be able to write on Saturday or I had an early flight, there's no way that I would have just said, oh no, I don't have to write on Friday. Part of being great at habits and routine is also giving yourself permission to be flexible, to adjust, because life is bigger than me writing my book. And I think that is a really important lesson to take away. So I believe in honoring your commitment. I believe in showing up for yourself, but I also believe in being flexible to serve yourself the best. And if opportunities arise and you want to say yes, remember you are saying no to something else, but sometimes you have to say yes to things because it's a great opportunity. So I said yes to being present at the conference and networking and hanging out with people and seeing people that I only see a couple times a year. Saturday, I woke up and I was locked in. Saturday also happened to be one of the biggest milestones so far to date because I finished my rough draft. Let's go. Let's go. I finished my rough draft in the morning before my flight. I polished it off with 1,891 words. And here's the truth. I'm excited about that. I was really excited about me finishing my rough draft, and I'm damn proud of it. But I also know that there is a lot more work to do. This draft is not perfect. This draft is not complete, but this rough draft is done. And I know that there's a lot more work to do, but I'm excited about what the future holds. But that day, Saturday, I celebrated. I finished. I literally screamed, let's go. I jumped up out of my chair that I was riding at my hotel room. I did a little happy dance, and I made sure that I enjoyed the rest of the day. Sunday, I took the day off to celebrate before starting to self-edit the following week, which would start off week 4. So 3-week update. We started 3 weeks ago, and I have finished my rough draft. I've outlined my book. I've done my must-dos before writing, and I finished my rough draft with 31,481 words. So now let's talk about how much time is this taking me to have finished my rough draft in the time frame of 3 weeks. Well, Monday, I spent 57 minutes. Tuesday, 84 minutes. Wednesday, 88 minutes. Notice how my 2 highest word counts were on the 84 and 88 because I was really in the flow. Thursday was 23 minutes. That's when I was at the conference. Friday was 0. Saturday was 59 minutes. And Sunday was 0 minutes. So the total time I spent this week on my book was 4 hours and 14 minutes, which is an average of 36.3 minutes per day or 50.8 minutes per writing session. Now, the total time I've spent on Project Bestseller after 3 weeks is 19 hours and 2 minutes, which on average is 51.9 minutes per day. So you can do this. All right, you can do this. All I'm doing is following the steps that I teach my clients on how to write and launch their own nonfiction book. All I'm doing is taking my existing coaching program, what I know, what I've experienced, what I've learned, and putting it into a straightforward book. Now, the biggest thing that I want to share here is this, that has saved me a lot of time, especially when writing my rough draft. And there are times where I could go a lot deeper into a story, or I could edit it to make it sound better. And I'm aware of that. But I'm not going to do that and stop my flow of executing. I will do all of that, add the details, remove some details, remove some chapters, add some chapters when I self-edit the book. So the biggest thing I'd say that it's taken me time that's really reinforced this as I go through this myself is that there are going to be things that do need work, and that's okay. But the big focus when writing your rough draft is to keep on writing, because now that I'm done with my rough draft, there's this huge sigh of relief of like, I did it. Milestone 1 is done. The big milestone is done. Now I can go back, get to it, and start making some magic happen and start to polish it up. Which leads us into the plan for this upcoming week. The goal for week 4 is to self-edit my book. So there are 2 ways to do this, a verbal read-through and a chapter-by-chapter read-through. I'm going to do the verbal read-through first, where I will actually read the book out loud and make changes as I go based on what I hear and also based on kind of the flow of the book. Then, depending on how much I get done this week, I will then go back and do a chapter by chapter read through where I'll read the book from start to finish and make sure it is polished. Next, what I'm going to do is as I'm doing this verbal read through and as I'm self-editing my book, I'm going to make sure that I have my lead gen pieces in play. I'm not going to create them yet. I'm not going to have the links yet, but I just want to make sure that I have the right lead gen resources at the right times throughout the book. And then I'm going to connect with my editor, my designer, and my formatter to start making sure I lock in my dates so that I can be ready for them when the time comes. If all goes well, in week 4, I should get the majority of my book self-edited. And in 1 to 2 more weeks, I should have my book in the hands of my editor. So that is a week 3 recap. Look, if you're enjoying this, you want more of it, you can get daily updates. I send it out for free. I just tell you exactly what I've done that day. We send emails, we answer questions, we have live Q&As. You can get access to all of this by texting the word bestseller to 661-669-7363. That's 661-669-7363. You guys, I've said it about 25 times, but sometimes we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. You can do this. You already teach it. You already talk about it. You already love it. You already get paid doing it. All right. All you're doing now is taking your knowledge, your skills, your expertise, and putting it into book format. And by doing this one time, by putting it in a book one time, you are setting yourself up for years and years of success. You are setting yourself up to save so much time. You are setting yourself up for the course, for the social content, for the coaching program, for the keynote, for raising your fees. You are setting yourself up for all of these opportunities. You can do this. That's what I got for you today. That is week 3 recap of Project Bestseller. And I will see you on the next episode of the Big Idea to Bestseller podcast. Peace.